Fred, I'm going to start with you if that's okay. How have you navigated any feelings of grief and loss and found a sense of purpose and meaning throughout your dementia journey?
Well, at the risk of repeating myself, one of the nicest aspects of the journey the the support and the education and information we've gotten from the Alzheimer's Society of BC. It's plain and simple. Uh, I must admit, when uh, when I got the diagnosis, I my first thought was, really, really, now what? This is not the way I expected to spend chapter three. You know, and I would, and frankly, I was at a bit of a loss because not like I had some incredible sense of purpose prior to the diagnosis. I did what I thought I was supposed to do in various situations, socially and work-wise and otherwise. So, so in a sense, sucking up all the education and the communication and the interaction with uh, other folks, my companions along the journey, uh, has in fact provided me with uh, a purpose that I don't think I had prior to the
Mhm.
diagnosis, and basically that is sort of you've got this toolkit in terms of speaking or presenting or so, and you claim to yourself that you can still do it. So why aren't you doing it? And so opening my little toolkit and volunteering in various meetings and sessions and projects that you've brought to me, Kimberly, and some of your colleagues have as well. Um, that's really given me a purpose that I didn't have before.
Mhm.
Strange to think of this whole thing as a bit of a gift,
Mm-hmm.
but it turns out that it has been.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's kept me occupied in a way that I think uh, I'd like to think it has made it somewhat easier on Rosie and my daughter and my son, that I'm not. Oh, I have my blue periods. I have my moments. That's for sure. But they recede more quickly than they used to, and I'd like to think that that has taken some level
Mm-hmm.
of a burden off of Rosie's shoulders and my children's worry about me not being the dad that I was. So I got nothing but gratitude and appreciation for that that exercising of my purpose to try now and to tell people, some of them in my old college and high school classes, it's not so bad, painless. I've lost a lot of relatives to a lot more
Yeah, worse things.
painful journeys, and uh, as almost everybody in my life has ever told me, well, Fred can do it, anybody can do it,
Right.
So I'm saying, you used to tell me
Very
that.
bad
So,
example.
let me,
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
It's a journey.
it's a journey,
Do you-
but I'm enjoying the journey more
More
than
than
I
you
thought I
thought.
would.
so happy to hear that. And do you have a strategy that you use if you're feeling kind of down or unmotivated or blue that kind of picks you up?
I do. I've got used to, Taylor Swift, shake, shake, shake it off. I, I, in the early part of my diagnosis, and when I actually had the diagnosis, I used to go to sleep at night And even when I wasn't sleeping, unless I was actually involved in a project, actually typing or writing or reading, anytime my attention got off the project right in front of me, my brain would immediately default to, well, you got it, right? You got it. I got you. It was, I won't say it was driving me crazy, but any time there wasn't anything specific on my mind, my brain reverted to, well, you got dementia, and I got used to literally flicking it off like a fly or a mosquito buzzing around my head, and it seemed to work. So even laying in bed at night, if I started to dwell on that, I physically batted away, and it started to work. So
And your music too. I mean, you would sit and play your uke
yeah, that
and
would take
sing.
me to
Yeah.
another place.
Because, when, and I keep thinking about these things, but when we met, you played all the folk songs
Yeah.
and you're back there now. Like I can hear him singing away the songs that we used to sing in the guitar and on the piano and now. So that gives you comfort, I think.
I think it does.
Yeah.
I had a one-man show, my wandering minstrel year through
Yeah.
Ireland and
So,
England. That's
revisiting that.
brought back
Oh,
the
wow.
biggest, most expensive souvenir I ever had.
I thought all Americans were rich, so I just thought, this is my meal ticket out.
And I think the Brits were all royal, so we both got what we deserved. I don't understand it to this day.
Yeah, so no, I do
Sure.
think that that music has helped you kind of
Yeah,
pull
it
yourself
has.
up.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Maple Ridge Senior Center has a great ukulele program. We even tour to other senior centers
Amazing.
around and perform. So
Mhm.
performing
Yeah, so he's still
again,
doing
50
that,
years
right?
later.
That performance that he's needed throughout his career. So we found ways for him to, to kind of still get that joy, that passion, right?
It's lovely. Music is such a powerful tool. And I wasn't expecting a Taylor Swift reference, so
Yeah,
there we
really.
go. You got me on my toes.
Oh, I read all the right magazines. I know what Tay-Tay's doing on a daily basis.
Love it.
Rosie, is there anything you'd like
Where
to
my daughter
add?
is cringing
I
right
know,
now.
really. It's because she was talking about it. Again, I think that, trying, to recognize that I'm going to have bad days and so is Fred. And we've always been like that throughout
Yeah.
our marriage, So usually when one is down, the other one
Yeah, that's true.
can pick them up. But for me, it was to try and get him a feeling of being passionate about something. So it would take some of the, the emphasis off me. And I guess I'm a fixer. So, reading a lot and trying to kind of, fix this, which isn't fixable. So learning to kind of let go. And I remember one of the very first meetings that I went to years ago. And again, it was at the senior center, and it wasn't an Alzheimer's meeting. It wasn't a BC, society one, and I said, I'm frustrated and I'm trying to help him do this. And someone said to me, well, does he want your help? And I'm like, well, but he should, because I wanted him to kind of still be the person, and so to try and fix up the holes and stuff. So having to kind of let that go and realize, that he has to make his own decisions still, and whether I feel that's the right decision or not, that being self-sufficient is something that I have to recognize is still important for him. So to kind of giving him the space to be who he is. So I'm trying to relearn. And I mean, we can't stress enough how important the Alzheimer's Society has been, and one of the workshops, a lot of the stuff that I do occasionally still is work with adults with disabilities who have huge stress responses. And so, but your workshop, on that topic kind of informed me and gave me some new language when I go forward, you know, in work. And so what my mantra is, like, connection rather than correction. And I've always been a teacher, so I've had to really try, you know, and I don't know that I'm very good at it, you know, stepping back from that need to correct, but it's something that I'm learning to do.
No
So
comment.
Thank you both. I can imagine there are people listening in today that can relate to that desire to want to fix the
yeah.
problem. And that's part of why I think we feel helpless sometimes along this journey, and things are a little bit out of our control. And when things are out of our control, it can be scary, but learning to let go and be in the moment and focus on connection is such great strategies.
Yeah.
All right, Heather, would you
Mm.
be able to share a little bit about how you've navigated your own feelings of grief and loss, and found a new purpose throughout this journey?
Well, my mom actually passed away from a heart condition. And my mom and my sister and I believed that that was a blessing that she had a heart condition, um, because she spent the last year in um, long-term care. And of course, a lot of people in long-term care have dementia. And so, you know, my mother didn't want to be um, where she was. She didn't want to lose her dignity, and um, so it was counterintuitive um, to want release for her um, earlier than she might have. Um, there were a lot of very complex feelings for me. I tried to keep her in her own home as long as possible. And I had told her that as long as she was safe, um, that she could continue to be in her own home. But if that changed, we'd have to talk about it again. And I was so grateful that, despite her reluctance to move into care, she almost immediately fell in love with being there, and which I was very grateful for. And it gave me the opportunity to be her daughter again, not so much a caregiver and trying to figure things out. I knew she was well taken care of. And so I could go and visit her, and we would sit in the movie theater and watch movies. And I just got to be her daughter again, which was just such uh, a lovely thing for that last year. Um, so after she passed, I spent my husband and I had an RV lot in the Shuswap, and I went there by myself, basically for 4 months, and sat by the river and tried to regain my physical and mental health, which, you know, grief is one thing. Recovering from caregiver burnout is something different. And so recognizing that there were two different things going on at the same time, some of the things look the same, but I would get frustrated with myself about, why am I not feeling better? Why am I still so tired? Why? And then when I sat and thought about it, it was like I was so depleted um, at the end of the journey, um, that I had to build it all up again. And that takes time. And so I had to remember, for all of the kindness that I had poured into Mom's journey, I needed to then pour that kindness back onto myself. And sometimes that's hard to do, but I'm still doing it. And um, after my husband died 2 years after my mother did, and um, sorry, um, I waited for a year before I thought about what it is I wanted to do. And Rosie talked about the value of the caregiver support group, and I could not have gotten through um, uh, my journey without the support of the other people in my group. And so when I felt that I had something to give back, I really wanted to volunteer with the Alzheimer's Society as kind of a legacy to my mom, but also because the lessons that we learn along the way um, are things that you would never, ever dream of. And I felt that if I could help one person because I knew one random strange thing, because we had this extraordinarily crazy thing happen, if I could help somebody with that, that became my purpose, was to share what I learned, to be encouraging, to give people hope, because then that makes it all worthwhile to be able to share. Even though it's a bit like, even now, I have big emotions coming up. Um, why would I want to put myself through kind of picking at a scab whenever I do something? But it's still there, and it's okay, and it's a way of honoring my mom and everybody else in our communities who are struggling with this. And there are so many people. I mean, I live in a very small community. It's only 1,700 people in Ashcroft. And so all of the people who are struggling with dementia, you end up knowing them personally, and their families have been part of your lives. And so, you know, people come to me now because I'm the Alzheimer's person in Ashcroft. And it's okay because I understand. And sometimes just listening and being encouraging um, helps. And when Kim and I were talking about this webinar and coping strategies, I said, I live in the week now. I couldn't deal with thinking about my future um, without my mom and my husband. I couldn't think about that. So I just thought about the week. And I find that if I live in the week, I don't look at my calendar for next week. I just look Monday to Sunday, and I can manage Monday to Sunday and the things that are within the week. And it has made me so much more present in my own life because I'm not thinking about the future or worrying about the future. I'm just thinking about today and maybe tomorrow. And I better think about Friday because I'm flying to Portugal. But
Ooh,
but
nice.
but that has been my strategy, and I embrace it, and it's going to continue, I think, on for the rest of my life, because if you're present, there's so much joy in being present and being present for other people as well. Because in my age group, my friends are all dealing with the loss of parents and spouses. And so
Mm.
I'm happy to be able to support them in that, because my hard part is over, and it makes me happy to help. That's my parents ingrained that in me.
That's
So
awesome.
thanks for the opportunity.
Mm.
Thank you so
Mhm.
much for that, Heather. And I know it it brings up a lot of emotions when you talk about your journey through grief and a journey that you're still walking.
Yeah.
and adapting to. But what you just shared was, I think, very powerful for people on this journey to hear. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Arabella, I am going to take just a moment. I'm going to pull up some images that Arabella is going to conclude the formal part of our presentation with.
But not yet. I'm going to speak without
Okay,
the.
you start first.
Thank you very much. When I was asked to participate in Alzheimer's meetings and be a panelist for the Alzheimer's annual convention last year, I saw two people who were diagnosed with dementia. Mario, 15 years ago, and Lynn, 25 years ago. They seemed to be fully functioning and accomplishing a lot. I wonder they what they did, what they ate, what medical interventions they took. Mario's answer was, I take it one day at a time. And Heather, like you, I look at my day and I try to create it rather than to see what happens. And then there were two milestones that really made a difference in my life. And the first one, and Heather, this is what you can bring the screen. I mean, sorry, Kimberly, my first. Okay, I had two milestones this year. One, I fell again, but for the first time, I fractured only a finger, but you wouldn't believe how that finger has tons of influences impacting everything in your body. And honestly, I never gave the dirty finger to anyone. But for, but for 3 months, I was giving them to everybody.
Everyone.
And then I thought, well, I was also able to go dragon boating. And I thought, wow, I mean, first of all, I wondered, is the universe telling me my traveling days are over? Because if I have another fall or accident happens somewhere else in the world where I don't know anyone, how can I manage my care? Then I realized, actually, Arabella, the universe is giving you a great training for being able to manage your care everywhere in the world. If you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. Besides, I can still attend outdoor picnics and dragon boating, even with a finger fracture. Life can still be fun. And for the second milestone, the slide, I reached that in August. I reached the ripe old age of 80. I don't know why I'm still here, because I asked the universe to please take me away in my prime of life, which I thought was 35 years old, because I could not bear going through what my parents endured in their disease-ridden years. But they said only the good die young. But I outlived them both and I'm still kicking around. There must be a reason for me to live this long. I discovered that I'm so grateful for the privilege of reaching 80 years. People give me the respect and congratulate me for fully participating in life. I believe there's a lot I can do to help younger generations and seniors avoid the disability and distress that illness can overwhelm us in our winter years. I learned from research and clinical studies I took that I should look outdoors as soon as I wake up. This was a sunrise from my deck 2.5 weeks ago. I saw it as more brilliant, more long lasting, more beautiful than the ones I've seen all summer. Am I right? I checked using an app with artificial intelligence. I did find out that the Geophysical Institute of the University of Alaska published an article showing that indeed sunrises during winter seem longer lasting, brighter, more intensely colored, because there's a lot less impurity in the air. There's a different angle of sunlight. There's some reflective snow cover and extended twilight all contribute to the unique and stunning quality of winter sunrises, especially in Alaska. Like sunrises, we may actually spend our later years with more brilliance than we had known before. Each day I greet the sunrise, I expect there will be gifts from the universe. What could those gifts be today? More joy from connecting with friends and family, more peace from meditation, more brainstorming and learning, and research showing dementia may not mean the end of life, but the beginning journey of hope. And though life will always be with challenges, it could be celebrated with more learning, more loving, more laughter, more joy. From the early days of my diagnosis, I often visited my garden for comfort. I cherish the words from William Wordsworth. What though the radiance which was once so bright forever be taken away from my sight? Though nothing can give back the hour of splendor in the grass, of glory in the flower, we will grieve not, rather find strength in what is left behind. In addition, nowadays, with regained confidence of earlier years, I look to poet Alfred Tennyson, who admonished us to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. There is more life to live. Even now, there are scientists who are discovering that some patients are able to reverse some forms of dementia through lifestyle and a combination of many factors. I'll continue to do things to make my brain function as well as it does now. So, in the winter of our life, we may be able to find sunsets and sunrises or everyday simple moments of silence and serenity, simple joys which are more precious to us now more than before. And such is the blessing that I wish for you all. May the life force be with you. Thank you.
Oh,
Wow.
Thank you.
yeah, wow.
Thank you so much, Arabella. I think that was just a beautiful and lovely way to conclude our discussion.